I went on a run this morning and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good, Austin.
It didn't feel good.
It didn't feel good. My body reminded me of the poor choices I made all of last week. Do you run? I forget. I know you lift, but do you run?
Not much. I just had a conversation with a guy yesterday about this. A buddy of mine here in where we live, he gifted me a bunch of firewood yesterday, and so
Oh, that's nice.
I went and helped him load it up into his truck, and then he brought it over, and we unloaded it here at the house. And he's a big runner, but I don't normally have enough time when I'm at the gym to get a run in. I'd have to do it at a different time, so I don't do a whole lot of cardio. But he'll run like 6, 7, 8 miles at a time, and he loves it. And he does trail running, and so I was like, I would do trail running for sure.
Trail running is fun. You should get into it. I find my time. I mean, I don't have kids, so it's a different story. But I find my time in the mornings. I'll like get up around 6:30, 6:45. And then me and my buddy on Tuesdays, we always run a 5K on Tuesday mornings. We meet up at like 7:30.
That's nice.
It's a very nice little time. Are we when are we getting our boy Chris in here?
Here in a minute. Okay. I was gonna say, so I've been typing stuff out to try to not forget, because I applied to be on Survivor. The show Survivor.
Out of here. Are you serious?
I've been a huge fan of Survivor since I was a little kid. Like since season 1, that's all my family has watched.
Okay.
And when Emily was pregnant with Carson, my firstborn, I binge watched like everything I had missed because I hadn't kept up with it for a little bit of time. And then I found myself in the same situation recently.
That's incredible.
I'm like, I've missed the last, I don't know how many seasons, just kind of forgetting about it. Because Emily, she's not the type to she doesn't watch reality TV really, and it's not something she would watch. So I'd have to watch it on my own. So I started watching it, and I just I'm like, I don't think I could win. I don't know. I think I could win, but it's really hard when you're more of like an athletic male on Survivor. They typically they don't get voted out right away. They'll make it to like the middle part of the game where they merge the tribe together. But then once they merge the tribe together, then they start to vote those people out because they're good at challenges and stuff like that. So like typically like who I would be if I were ever on that show is that guy that would probably be decent at challenges that they'd want to vote out. But I've got a weird personality because I'm not like I'm not like tool. Yeah, I'm not like in your face, this alpha, it's my way or the highway. I'm not a super outgoing person. So I feel like I could kind of like, I don't know, be kind of in the background of everything. I'm not a huge gossiper. Yeah. But I can be, and I'm super manipulative, and I'm not afraid to stab somebody in the back either. So I'm like, I could, like, if I was really strategic about it, I feel like I could be pretty good at it. But I don't know.
See, that's insane that you say that you want to, by the way, tell me the second you send Chris the invite, because I need to be tracking the time in between him getting the invite, because we got to have the leaderboard. But it's funny you say that because you don't want to do cardio.
Wait, hold on. Hold the lobby. Hold the lobby. I got to go take a piss.
all right.
I'm just kidding. I'm not Sean. Go ahead.
Oh God Almighty! But look, you want to be on Survivor, but you don't want to run. I feel like those people, they got to run sometimes, don't they? You think you think get in that cardio shape just to get ready for that show?
I mean, the hardest thing they don't really do a whole lot of like long distance running necessarily, but you do have to be in pretty good shape, which I think I'm in good enough shape to do it. But it's also like these guys will go, 30 days almost without hardly eating. So like that, to me, like that's the biggest is being able to like mentally still have it while not eating. But for the last year and a half, I've been fast. I eat once a day and I fast. So it's like literally all I can do 3 days with just water. I've done it. So it's got to be more than that. You got to push yourself more than that. But like, I don't know. I feel like I'm capable of doing it if I really wanted to. We'll see. I don't know. I was forgetting things I wanted to say when I did the little video for it to apply, and I mean, it was horrible. Like, I'm like, it doesn't show my personality really at all because I have a hard time talking into a camera to like know, but like I don't know who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to a person, like I look at you and see you, like it's just much different. But so I was gonna do like a second video because I'm like the first one just went horrible, and I want to do it. I want to do it really bad.
You should make a third video and then clip in parts of the first video to show how much you can improve. You know, so then it's like, oh, the producers know this guy can grow. We've had some.
They do ask for social media. They do ask for social media, so I'm gonna have to link the SNS, the podcast, or something.
Oh no!
You're gonna be on there.
Oh great! They're gonna be like, "Who's that ugly fuck?"
They're like, "Go watch the first 5 seconds after the intro of the first episode, where you can hear me say "going hard is all I know." And then you're gonna want me on there.
Man, we've had my wife and I, we've had a stint almost being on reality television. I could share that. You know what? I can hold that for the next intro because we're going to do this back to back anyway. I'll share that story for the next one. I'll tell you about our little run.
Yeah, I have no idea where I'm going to start this one. I've been recording for a while, but
that's fine. You tell me when you send the link because I've got the timer ready. Timer ready.
I sent him a message.
Perfect.
He says he's good. Are you planning on asking him questions from the start? Hold on, restart. I haven't sent the link yet.
We'll get it going right off the bat. Right, boom. He enters. I'm going to say something at first, and we'll dive into the questions.
Okay, hold on. I got some bullshit. Hold on, I got something. Hold on.
Because whenever he gets in here, right, we want to keep this at about 30 minutes. Let's just assume he gets in here. You'll probably have like 5-6 minutes of like intro conversation, maybe like 4 minutes, whatever you're going to do. So like, this will be interesting. This is going to be a true test for us. You know, we gotta test our ability to be concise. Okay, it's gonna be a big one.
I've got a couple questions. It might take him a minute. I sent the link. It might take him a minute to set himself up, like put his name in. But
that's fine. Starting. That's fine.
I'll tell you as soon as it says he's popping in.
He's got a minute and 34 to beat because Seb took fucking forever when he did that. Also, there's this misconception with this segment that we all love here about this, the picture thing, because I think everybody thinks that I'm going to be this mean person.
He's ready.
I just don't like Seb, so that's the difference. I'm ready. Bring him in. Bring him in.
All right, here we go.
Boom. Bring him on. Look at this.
Oh, what's going on?
Wow. Look at this. What a time. 36 seconds. That's impressive.
It's a new record.
That's almost a minute faster than Seb. See? I already like you.
I'm punctual. Be on time.
Chris, I meant to start out with this. Šta Shupak?
Dobro. Kako ti?
It's the only thing I know in Croatian. It's the only thing I know. It's apparently what's up, asshole.
That was good. I'm surprised you know anything.
I'm fucking Polish, all right? I know Slavic. We invented Slavic. If you don't know your history about Europe or anything, you know, just saying. I don't know if you know that. Anyway, start asking him questions, Austin. I'm gonna look up.
Are you done, Paul?
I'm very upset.
Okay. Well, we'll get into some serious stuff first, and Paul is gonna provide the humor of this episode. So, my first question for you, Chris, is you're currently tied for third place right now in the standings with the T2 season going on, 9 points off of first. What are your expectations for the rest of this season? Is it first place for you, or what are your expectations moving forward the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, definitely first. I think it's going to be tough, especially with Francois. He's very, very quick, so I'm going to need some more spinning.
I feel like that there's got to be like an asterisk on that. Francois is just he's in there because he wanted to race, right? We needed him in there so that, because I felt bad for him. But I was like, as soon as we put him in there, it's going to be open season for everybody else to go after second. Because that dude, he has a bad sneeze. He's still finishing in the top 5 or whatever it is. I mean, it's
but I mean,
wild to me.
Dude, Francois in second right now, and
Francois in second.
Anything can happen. It's not like Chris is far off.
It's true.
And I think we've had a different winner in each race, right? So,
just about.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. But it kind of, I guess, leads me into the next question. Were you shocked at all to be the number 1 pick in the reserve driver draft?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. I was surprised, flattered by it. It felt good, I didn't really know much about the other drivers though. Like I came in pretty unaware of like the skill level because I only had the 2 races from last season that I drove in.
That's true, yeah.
So I didn't really know what to expect from the draft. But yeah, that was pretty cool. It was definitely a good feeling.
Now, Chris, sorry, Austin, my bad.
Well, I was just gonna say from the principal perspectives, your name was thrown around a lot. I wasn't surprised at all by it, and especially with it being from Keaton. But yeah, I mean, the whole Francois situation. Him even being eligible to be drafted was kind of, we weren't really sure if we were allowing it at first, but even still, it mattered, with our T1 season to bring on people that were going to be available then, and that was kind of his downfall. But I wasn't shocked to see you go number 1. Go ahead, Paul.
No, my question though, and first off, Austin, I love how you think that we know what we're doing here. But so Chris, you came in an interesting path, right? Because you were kind of a referral from our boy Miami Dave. He talked you up for a hot minute. You were wondering if you were going to show up. I had you on the T2 like first season sheet as Chris ? Miami Dave's friend. What did Miami Dave tell you that like got you interested enough to join this? Because you've got a good following on Discord, you got a good following on Instagram. Something had to click for you to be like, yeah, I'll give this place a shot. So what was it about this place that just drew you in before we get to an incredible segment, before we get into there? But what was it?
Well, first of all, shout out Miami Dave. He was
Miami Dave.
That was huge because he brought me into a great league. So I'm thankful to him for that. I don't know what exactly it was. He reached out to me and said that he's like, hey, you want to join this league? Which I've had other people reach out. Like I've had a couple of people since I started streaming, but he was like, it's a very serious, or not very serious, but well run. He said it's organized and well run. And I was like, okay, wow. That's like one thing that I would look for in a league because I don't want to join it if it's just like a mess, it's cluttered, it's not somewhat serious. And then like when I got in and I saw the channels with like the stats for each race, the standings, everything, I was like, okay, this is sweet. So and I also saw some of his clips from races because like I saw some of his like posts. I forget if they were league races or whatever, but he followed me, so I followed him back and looked through his content, and then we just kept talking. And then Paul, that's when you reached out. So yeah, I think it was a great decision though. This league's been super fun so far.
How do you know Miami Dave? Like, how did you guys first connect?
He just reached out about the league. I think he first DM'd me on Instagram, and he was asking me stuff about streaming, and then we just started talking about that. And then he mentioned the league. So we didn't know each other or anything like outside of.
Gotcha. Yeah. You're bringing up streaming. How long have you been streaming games?
Since January. So
has it been F1 mostly or anything else?
Yeah, only F1. I didn't really want to get into other games yet. Like I wanted to get into that niche because I feel like in the US there's not a lot of F1 streamers. So I was trying to fill that gap.
Yeah.
And I started because I was unemployed for the past like year. I'm in tech, and so I was unemployed for a year, and I was like, I'm playing video games anyways, and I play F1. Let me try to do something with it. So I started streaming in January, and then recently started a new job, so it's been a little bit harder, but I'm still doing it at nights now.
That's awesome. Well, congrats on finding the job. That's tough right now in the tech world. Now you stream, right? There's some goofballs that appear on streams. any kind of weird question that's ever stood out to you in your stream? The weirdest question you've been asked yet, or are you still waiting for that moment?
I don't think there's been any weird ones.
Oh, fantastic! All right, good answer.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty chill, pretty relaxed.
Now, I know Austin's going to ask about the shoes in your background because the shoes are insane, but we don't have time for that because Austin, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Chris thinks he's great because he has heritage, and I want to test that heritage in in one of our favorite segments to do here. So I'm gonna share.
This is why we have Paul here.
Pressure's on.
This is important. Let's do entire. See, this is I work in tech, but I hate Teams. All right, I'm gonna share, and we're gonna do this beautiful segment called "Do You Know Where You Come From?" It's gonna be 3 questions for you. It's gonna be 3 questions. Chris, you can't cheat. Now you got to be honest with us here. Okay, you just gotta answer as honestly as you can. No judgment. So first question for you. First question. What is the famous piece of clothing that was originated from Croatia?
The tie.
God damn it. Yes, sir. Wow. Okay. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I think he's using ChatGPT, but that's okay.
Wait, Paul, before you move forward, Chris, where are you from? Obviously he kind of gave it away, but give us a little background on you, because I don't think we even brought that up before.
Yeah. I'm Croatian, but I was born in the US. My dad was born in Croatia, and my mom, her whole family was born in the US or in Croatia, but she was born here when they moved here. So I'm obviously like an American, but my whole heritage is Croatian. Both my parents are, so like I go back pretty much every summer now.
That's awesome.
And it's like always been a pretty big part of my life.
Yeah,
that's
incredible. I just wanted to make sure people that are listening to this tomorrow, whenever we do post this, that they have at least understand why Paulie's attacking Croatia.
No, we listen. It's not attack. We get to bond over the fact that we're first generation Americans. Like that's a tough trait. That's a tough thing because heritages die. But clearly they're not, because the man knew right off the cuff. He knew the necktie was invented in Croatia. Good job, you guys. You guys invented cigarettes and neckties. Now, Croatia is the weirdest shaped country in Europe. You can't even deny that, Chris. But tell me, there are 5 countries that border Croatia. Name at least 4 of them. Name at least 2 of them.
Serbia.
Okay.
Bosnia.
Wow.
Montenegro.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Austria does on the north, or maybe there's something between us and Austria.
Mm-hmm.
Slovenia.
Mm-hmm.
Albania doesn't, but it's close.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you one more guess, and then we'll reveal how close you were to this answer.
What am I missing?
So I'll give you a hint. It's a weird ass sounding. It's like one of the countries I didn't even know existed on the Euro map. All right, you ran out of time. You were very close. Excuse me. Let me use this special technology we have here.
Hungary.
Yeah. So you got Bosnia and this. How do you even say that? I don't even know how you say this one.
Herzegovina.
There you go. You got Slovenia, Hungary, Montenegro, and I was giving him a little shit earlier, Austin, because if you don't notice, all of this, right? This is all Croatia. Yeah, they blocked the beaches off for Bosnia like little pricks. It's absolutely a meme. It's incredible. I think it's so funny. Now, the last question for you, Chris. Last question. Name me Croatia's first king.
Oof. First king. Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
His name is
Tito. I know Tito, who was a recent ruler, but that's about it.
Okay. His name was Tomislav, and he existed in 925. Look at the fucking mug on this dude.
Shit.
That is one angry looking man. This is Croatian if at a T. But I will give you credit. You got 2 of the 3 right. Tomislav is a tough one to remember, so I'll give you credit. But you do know a little bit about where you come from. So, Austin, I'll let you throw a question out there before we get on to another incredible segment we do here.
I like this. It's fun.
Hold on, we're not professionals here. I'm trying to look at the time. I should have been running a clock like Paul was earlier.
Perfect. Okay, so Austin's obviously ready for his next segment, but I'm even more ready. We're gonna dive into Paul. This. We're diving in. It's gonna be great. So I was telling Austin that Chris, I think you came into this with some expectation that I'm gonna be some mean guy, and I'm gonna find some silly picture of you to make fun of you. And what I did was I found your Instagram. Okay, not your gaming one, your personal one.
Yep.
And I got to be straight with you. This is the coolest thing I've seen yet. You went on a little European backpacking adventure and you got to go see the Austrian GP and you sat in an incredible spot. Tell us, like, really briefly about this fucking experience, because first off, did you not get attacked for wearing Mercedes gear at the Red Bull Ring? Let's hear about that first.
Oh, yeah. A lot of Red Bull fans. They were all just drunk and kind of minding their own business. There weren't many sober Red Bull fans. It felt like I was at like the European version of an NFL game. It was just a bunch of like drunk, white, overweight men. No offense to people who enjoy the NFL. And they were funny, honestly. Like they were a good time. I don't think we got heckled too much. They were pretty chill for most of it. But yeah, we just sat on the grass here. It was like the general admission. And it was very, very cool because we were pretty close. But what I didn't like is you don't know what's going on in most of the race. Like all we saw was that second DRS zone, and the screens weren't like too loud and they're kind of far from us, so I didn't really know what was going on. And then the walk from like the parking lot to the track itself was like ridiculous. It was in the mud and it was really far. So there was like a couple of things like that weren't the best, but overall it was a great experience and a ton of fun.
I can't get over this view. This is insane, having those mountains back there. Like, but I'm going to my first race in October to the Austin GP, and you know, Circuit of Americas is it's a lot bigger than this place, and I'm terrified of that walk because we have to have a similar walk that you were describing from the parking lot to the general admission area because shuttles are kind of non-existent. But no, I didn't want to find a bad picture. There was a lot. There wasn't that many, but this just caught my eye. I was like, holy shit. And then is this your family that you went out there with?
Yeah, it is. Sisters, mom and dad. And my dad, so I got into F1 when I was a kid because my dad always watched. And my dad used to be like a race car driver before I was born. So he's always been in this world. And
Hold on. Let's zoom in. That dude does look like a race car driver. Hold on. That's what did he drive? Let's hear about this.
He drove, it was mainly in Ohio, and he drove at the time, I think, like a Volkswagen they tuned up for the track. I forget honestly the model of the car. I've only seen a couple of videos that he had. Like he doesn't have much on it, but he did that, and he like worked on the car. He worked in a shop for a little bit. He like built his own Porsche when he was a kid, like a high schooler. Like he's always been super into this world. So like we always watched F1 growing up, and it was just like a part of Sundays for us. And then that was took this long. That was our first F1 race together, and my first ever.
That's sick.
I mean, for your first one to go to the Austrian GP, that's a pretty great first one. And I'm sure you must be thrilled that he spent decades working on real cars for his son to drive virtual video game cars. I mean, you're out in New York. There's some racing out. Well, you're downtown New York, or where are you at in New York?
Yeah, I'm in Manhattan.
Okay, so there's no racing over there. Well, you guys almost had racing a few years ago, except it would have been in Jersey, but it would have been the New York Grand Prix.
Yeah, I wish there used to be also the Formula E race here, but they stopped doing that for some reason.
Dude, Formula E is fun. Formula E,
it's pretty cool.
It's a good time. Am I still sharing screen, by the way? I just want to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, dude.
Shut up. Shut up. By the way, last time you said my face was frozen. I watched that whole thing.
Dude, it was during when we were talking. You were as frozen as it gets, but for some reason when the stream played, for everyone else to see, you weren't. at all frozen. Chris, have you played F1 games before F1 23?
Yeah. I think my first one was like maybe 12 or something like that.
So yeah, you've
That's a good
been
one.
involved for a while.
Yeah, I've had it for a while. And then there's some that I played less than others. Like,
Yeah, which one was that? I hope you know the answer to this.
which one did I play less?
Yes.
Well, what was it? I think it was 21 or no, 22. One of them was awful. Yeah.
22 was pretty bad.
Yeah,
Did you ever play F114?
Probably. Let me look at who was on the cover.
I think that cover would have been Rosberg, Raikkonen, and
I think I did.
And Vettel. Vettel was, I mean, that was back when Vettel was still, or that was, I think, either the first year Vettel went to Red Bull or to Ferrari, or was the year after. But that's, yeah. So you lived through F1 2020, which I spout about all the time as being one of the greatest F1 games ever made. Although 2012 was a great one too, because I think 12 had a Champions League or something like that, where they had like old school drivers and shit, right?
Yeah, and I miss the classic cars. In like 2018, I remember they had the classic cars, all of the tracks. Like I miss racing at Hockenheim. That was so fun.
Hockenheim's a great track.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful track.
I don't know why they took out classic cars.
I was hoping that 20.
Oh no!
It wasn't this cover. I was hoping this was 2014, but
oh god, it's gonna be fucking nightmares.
Freaking Louis Bamonti right there. Holy shit.
Yeah, and then there's Austin. Then there's Austin Vettel.
Austin Vettel.
And then who's everyone else in this nightmare? That's
Seb Loic. Yeah, it's supposed to be Seb.
Who's on the left though? I can't even tell.
Young Max. This is Brilsey.
Oh,
he's on the far left, and then Painter, and then Sean McVay. I mean David Dietrich. They're right next to Louis Bamonti. God, that's funny.
Oh, that's some nightmare material. Well, I think it's time for everyone's favorite segment, because we gotta slowly get to the end here, right? This is an important segment, and I think what's good this time around is that, you know, we have a few extra minutes where we can conversate about the subjects that I'm about to bring up here. But of course, and I have to do this faster so that I don't waste so much time. Of course, it is time for the news. The news. Clip art brought to you by Paul Bozek. Now, we're going to talk about a few things. And we're going to talk about something really cool at the end. I'm very excited to share this with you guys. But of course, one of the biggest announcements that I don't know if it's official yet or if it's about to be is that Lance Stroll has officially paid to win. Adrian Newey is said to be announced to be going to Aston Martin at any moment, if that is not already announced. This man, the genius that he is about to go to Bad Santa at the team at Aston Martin. Thoughts, critiques? What are we thinking, boys? How do we feel about this big move? He was supposed to go to Ferrari. He's going to Aston Martin.
Yeah, I think it's a great move. I know he wanted to stay in the UK because he said before he didn't want to go to Italy. So I think from that, no one was really expecting him anymore to go to Ferrari, unfortunately, which I would have liked being a Lewis fan. But I think going to Aston is kind of cool because it's a little bit more of a challenge being a lower level team. And obviously he has all the money he could want there. So that was probably part of his decision. But I only think it makes sense if they get rid of Lance. If they do all of this,
they're not doing that. They're not doing that.
But then Lawrence really isn't that serious about winning. Because like, why would you get the best aerodynamics guy and then have a very below average driver?
Because he said since the first episode of Drive to Survive, he's even talked about this when he was in Williams, he wants to get his son to a championship. And then his son can go fuck off and play at Wimbledon all he wants, play tennis. But I don't think Lance is ever leaving that team, because I think if Adrian can design the car that he designed for Red Bull last year and the year before, even an idiot like Lance can carry that. Because I don't even think that they want Lance to get a driver's chip. I think they just want him to have a constructor's championship on his resume.
So if that's the case, what are your odds that Max winds up there?
No chance. No way.
None?
I don't foresee Max leaving his Red Bull. You're talking about somebody leaving a very specifically designed car, and then they would have to completely restructure everything around him. On top of that, too, um, I mean, Max is so used to that Red Bull. He's so used to that engine, right? He would jump. It would be a big win. He'd be jumping to the best engine on the grid, which is the Mercedes. That is the best engine. But I don't see that happening. I don't know. What about you, Chris? What do you think? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I could honestly kind of see it happening.
Really?
I think
Okay.
just because I think Max is gonna go wherever he can win. Like I don't see him sticking it out with Red Bull if they're not as good and not as competitive for several years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they've already had all of this drama and beef within the team, and his dad is a psycho.
Oh
Is
yeah,
causing
too.
a lot of it. So I don't know. I think Lawrence can get him there with money and with Nui now. And I think if they show promise within like a year or two, I could see Max going. I don't think he would go right away. He wouldn't be like the guinea pig for them. Um, but if they're doing well, I think he would go there.
Okay. Well, I know Austin, you had a thought, but guess what? I gotta cut you off because we gotta go
It's
to the
all
next
good.
subject.
Let's go.
Air conditioning. Air conditioning belongs in cars, but did you know it might be coming to F1? Yes. Recently, let's zoom in on that little finger right there. That's very nice. Nice color. AC could be coming to F1. This is a very strange technical advancement, but the complaints that we had last year about the Qatar Grand Prix, right? It was too hot. Drivers were sweating. They were dying out there. Instead of moving the Qatar Grand Prix to a time where it's a little bit cooler, they instead we're going to enact technical changes to add AC. So they began testing at Zandvoort at a few upcoming races. Now, this is a quote from our favorite group of people, the FIA. The technical regulations have been updated to allow the introduction of a passive scoop on the top of a cockpit for enhanced ventilation, which teams are strongly encouraged to use in test. Initial tests and proofs of concept are planned to take place in upcoming races, including this weekend at Zandvoort. AC and F1. Enclosed cockpit, we're just trying to manipulate airflow. I don't think there's much comment to be made about this. I just think it's kind of an interesting technical change that's coming because I want to save the conversation for this very last piece of information. Now, this is a concept for an upcoming race. It is being taken over by the TOK group, which is questionable at best, right? They've designed some great tracks, including Coda. They've also designed some shit tracks, including Jacques Villeneuve is going to be a part of this. This is a track that's going to be potentially open by 2027. It would be a grade 1, which would be deemed eligible for F1, and it would be Croatia's home race. Thoughts, Chris, on Croatia hosting an F1 race in the upcoming few years?
I mean, I think you can guess where I'd stand there. I'm a big fan of that. I would when I saw the news a couple weeks ago, instantly sent it to my dad and we were talking about it. This would be amazing. I don't know where they plan on doing it, like which part of Croatia, if they're doing it by the water or more inland, but I think that would be really, really cool.
The rumors is a city called Lapovac, Lapovac. I don't know if you know what region that's out of. I couldn't tell on a map. But yeah, that's the region they're thinking about. I think it's kind of fun to bring in a proper circuit in again, right? This is deviating from the traditional modern take where we're starting to bring in street tracks again. Austin, what are your thoughts on this track looking at this? What do you think of this place?
It's wild, but I mean, as soon as I found out about Chris being from, or his family being from Croatia, I immediately went and looked it up, sent it to my wife, and she's obsessed with that place now. So I can just imagine that wherever this ends up being, it's going to have beautiful scenery everywhere, and I could turn out to be a pretty cool track. But yeah, I don't know much more beyond that.
I mean, in Austin, I don't know if you know the layout of this place, but I think Chris would. This kind of gives Malaysia GP vibes. I don't know if you remember that track much, Chris. With kind of these like these swooping angles here, but like look at this. You got what is that corner in Silverstone, Cops and Beckett or whatever. Coda has the same thing. You've got the long sweeping straight here. You know, I'm guessing pit road would have to be probably somewhere here. I doubt they'd put it there. This would obviously be a DRS zone. I don't know, but this is the planned circuit. It would be fully built out. I don't think this is a street circuit because can't fathom a natural road being built like this. So it's going to be probably somewhere in the countryside. But I think that's pretty cool. A potential new European race for us to see.
That'd be very cool. The countryside would be nice. They have a lot of like mountainous regions, hilly regions. And Croatia is still relatively cheap. It's been getting more expensive in the past couple of years since they adopted the euro, but I think it would still be somewhat affordable. Because like when I went to Austria, it was like I think I spent like $250 or something for a 3-day ticket. So if they're that cheap, I can't imagine Croatia would be a whole lot more expensive. Which would be really cool. So hopefully that happens.
You think you'll fly out for that first race?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And they'll probably do it in the summer, I'm guessing.
They have to, or the spring, because they'll probably keep it in that like Euro like time of the calendar months across the countries. They'd probably do it right after Monza. That'd probably make the most sense because isn't Italy just right across the water?
Yeah, it is. Italy would be close, and Hungary would also be close, and Austria. They're all like right there.
Too. Yeah, that'd be really convenient for him. Well, I've got nothing else for you.
You're out, Paul?
Austin. I'm out. I'm taking the headphones off. No, I gotta be here. So
I'm also out of questions. I felt like we asked what we needed to, and we thank you for coming on for a little bit and talking to us. I hope to do more of this, especially with everybody, to just kind of give everybody a chance to let the league know who they are and where they're from and all that. I definitely appreciate you coming on.
Actually, you know what? We got. I think this is important. Your shoe collection's insane behind you. Grab one of those shoes that is like probably the wildest or your favorite one you got up there. I want to see one of them because you got 3 more behind you. Oh my God, look at those things.
These ones, the Balmains.
What the hell?
I got these when I went to Paris like 3-4 years ago.
Sick.
And
I gotta go vacation with this guy.
Those are pretty cool. I like those ones. I treated myself to those. They were an expensive pair, but since I bought them in Paris, I got the tax break when you ship something like that expensive back to the US.
I have heard about this. Yes.
Yeah. So I got it cheaper than it would have been. But those are probably one of my favorites, and I like these two. These blazers right there.
Those look sick.
It was a collab with this German designer, and I actually was DMing her a little while ago when I got them because I tagged her in the picture, and she was like very cool woman. So I like those a lot.
That's sick.
What a cultured young man we have in our league, Austin. We're very blessed to have a guy like Chris here.
I know he's a great addition. Chris, what are your social media handles for streaming for people that are in this league that don't follow you already?
Yeah, it's all just Chris Games Real for everything, Twitch and all the socials.
All right, awesome. Had to get that in there real fast. So, all right, we're gonna let you go, man. Thanks for talking to us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate you.
Good luck tomorrow, buddy. See you at the racetrack.
Thank you.
What a guy. What a beautiful guy.
Another great guy.
I mean, as
2 for 2.
It's only going to get worse because we're going to bring in our boy, good Brandon, coming up in a couple minutes.
Yeah. So people that are listening to this, we'll end up cutting this off at some point here soon. And then we're going to be working on the next interview with Brandon. So that'll be the next episode that's going to come out. I'm not sure when, but yeah, we're doing this all in one night. So just so people are aware.
All right. Well, it's been fun. On to the next one.